Hello, everyone. You have the Keystone team here today to share some thankful messages. We're going to spend a couple minutes talking with you all about what we're thankful for regarding our Thanksgiving traditions and our Thanksgiving food. And so we're just going to do a little bit of a roundtable conversation with all of our Keystone Academics team to just share a little bit about our own family traditions. And hopefully we will hear from you in the chat about what you might be thankful for and can share a little bit more with us about maybe your own traditions or favorite Thanksgiving foods so that we can learn a little bit more about you. So I guess I'll start off. I just really enjoy from a Thanksgiving perspective, just getting to spend quality time with family, more extended family that I don't typically get to spend time with. And really, I think from a food perspective, I typically get just requested to make random things. This week I got requested to make pineapple upside down cake and sometimes pumpkin roll, the typical requests, but normally things I don't get to make very often. And then just spending that time making those things with my own family and that time involved in doing so. So just the kind of time commitment of making things that I don't get to make very often and enjoying that time of spending time with them while doing things in that process. So I'll pass it over. Who wants to go next? I won't hand it off. I'll hand it off to whoever wants to go. How about turkey hat down there, Miss Elizabeth Jones? Why don't you take it over?
Okay, with my turkey hat. So tradition wise, we travel to go see my family. We don't have to stay overnight or anything, but it's still a travel to go see family for a big meal and time together to hang out and all that. We often celebrate birthdays along with it, only because we have so many November birthdays in our family. And since we're together anyway, we do a whole bunch of celebrations. So as for the food part, I mean, I totally think Erica's on to something right there with pumpkin rolls. So, Erica, can I request one? I mean, I don't know if that's like something you're doing here or not, but if you are, I'll totally take one. But I don't know, like the whole thing of having the turkey and the mashed potatoes and the gravy and the sweet potatoes, like it just says Thanksgiving to me, like because that's just part of the whole thing. So I can't pick one thing that's on my plate that I love the most because I just love it all. So James, I'm going to throw it to you.
Thank you. One of our traditions is typically to have like a farm fresh turkey. Unfortunately, this year we didn't get to raise any, but we had a friend who had an extra. So I'm thankful for them and having an extra turkey for us for this Thanksgiving. And so that's probably my favorite thing is the turkey, of course. And then I like the dark meat. That's my favorite part. And dessert wise, you got to go with the pumpkin roll. Can never go wrong with that. But also, my wife makes these. They're like a cupcake muffin. I don't know what, and then they're filled with the cream cheese filling from like a cheesecake. They're filled with those. So that's probably my favorite dessert. But of
I think I'm
course,
going to start
like Erica said,
requesting from all
thankful
of
for
you.
family. Yeah. Thankful for family and getting together with everybody that you don't typically get to see. I will pass it to Aaron.
I had a feeling it was coming to me. Well, okay. So, like Elizabeth, we celebrate birthdays on Thanksgiving. So, favorite dessert will be birthday cake because my birthday is one of those birthdays we celebrate. So what is it? Every 7 years, it falls on Thanksgiving for me. Is that how that works? Not this year, but there's also a few other birthdays, so we make sure to celebrate those. Food-wise, my favorite will have to be homemade stuffing. So that's something that absolutely has to be served, not the box stuffing, homemade on Thanksgiving. But I do love box stuffing, but on Thanksgiving, it's got to be homemade. To add in my own tradition family-wise that I really look forward to for Thanksgiving, regardless if we spend the actual day together, my family always makes Thanksgiving the day where we somehow figure out how to exchange names for our gift exchange that happens on Christmas. So we call it a Pollyanna. I know that's not common across the country, but Thanksgiving Day is when we always make sure to pick out the names for the adults, and then the kids do one as well. So I will I will give it to Aubrey. Go ahead.
Nice. So we do that same tradition, Erin. So that's something that we do every Thanksgiving as well too. But one of the biggest traditions ever since I was little, we all sit down and we watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. We love watching it and just having it, even if we're cooking in the kitchen, it's on in the background, and we have to make sure to see, all the balloons and all the floats, but definitely Santa coming in at the end. We have to stay and be able to watch that. I think my favorite food, I have two. One would be pumpkin pie, and the other one would be sweet potato casserole. So loaded with marshmallows on top, and so just the real good stuff. So maybe like two desserts, but the sweet potato casserole is a side dish. So yeah.
Well, I've never been sold on.
I will pass it off to Krista.
Perfect timing. The dog just laid down. So well done. Well played, Aubrey. Well played. So I feel like Thanksgiving becomes like a 3-day festival. That's like the family tradition, because Wednesday is pie day, because I like to get my pies done so that they sit for a day, torture the kids that have all come home. They have to smell all the good smells. I've started to now just say, you know what, let's dig in. Who cares? But ideally, if we could hold out till Thursday, that's great. We do not deviate from the menu at all on Thursday, because if we don't have the, 5 or 7, whatever it is, items, then it's not really Thanksgiving. We're very traditional. There is no deviating. We like what we like, and we're sticking with it. So I think the weirdest thing, I don't know if it's really weird, but we have to like roast chestnuts. We do roasted chestnuts after dinner, before the pie. That's like a holdover from, Nan and Pop, because that's what you did in a good Italian family. And so that's the culture that I was raised in. And so, yeah. And then Friday is like leftover and the homemade soup that I make with the turkey, that's got like tomato soup mixed in with it, with like pastina or alphabets. And like my kids look forward to that, I think, just as much as they do to Thanksgiving, because the leftovers are always slamming. So yeah. Amy, I'm throwing it to you and your kitty.
Thanks. I have one word, and that is stuffing. I love the stuffing. It's my favorite. And it has to be my mom's stuffing, which is like this really simple bread and celery and onions and broth and like a few spices. And since I've had my own family now, I've started trying to make like all these fancy meals, and I try and make stuffing, and fancy is not as good. It's just not. So my mom always has to bring stuffing, even if it's not stuffed in the turkey. I have a pretty small family, so we don't have a lot of traditions, but one thing we do is we watch football on Thanksgiving. There's always 2 games on, so it's nice to have the football game in the background. I will pass it to Tony.
That's me. So with unfortunate generational changes, our traditions have changed. And thankfully my aunt has a huge garage. So we now get together there with her husband's fried turkey. And I have a hard time eating roast turkey after fried turkey. I really do. So it's absolutely the best stuff in the world. But then my mom, my sister, my aunt, my cousins, and I, we all tend to go shopping. I know it's not the most common thing, but whether we need anything or not, we go to the store, we spend time together, go out to lunch on Friday, and just enjoy each other's company. But I also have one of those weird families that gets together every Sunday. So we see each other all the time. It's great. So I will go ahead and pass it over to Bridget.
Hi, guys. So, going off of what Tony said about the generational differences, as a millennial Gen Z cusp, I don't do anything. My plans for Thanksgiving are We're going out to eat so that I don't have to cook or clean up. And then I'm going to play video games for the next like week. So those are my plans. So I'm very thankful for video games and not having to clean up after Thanksgiving. In terms of foods I'm thankful for, the week after Thanksgiving, along with video gaming, I'm also baking about like 600 to 800 cookies. So I'll be very thankful for the different kinds of cookies I'll be making next week. And I will pass it off to Morgan.
I am coming to your house for cookies after Thanksgiving. That's going to be my new tradition. Wow, that's a lot of cookies.
You're welcome to come over and steal some.
I might do that. So we also watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade at my house. I drag my kids, no matter what age they are, out of bed. They have to watch it with me. We usually go to my sister-in-law and brother-in-law's house where we have fried turkey, and my sister-in-law makes a sweet potato dish, and the top of it is like a pecan pie on top of sweet potatoes. So that's pretty amazing. I make a crab dip every year, and I also make green bean casserole. Everyone loves my green bean casserole. I hate green bean casserole. I have never tasted my green bean casserole. I don't think it looks appetizing. I don't like it. I just put a lot of pepper in it. That's the secret ingredient. So apparently it's a huge hit. So that's what I do on Thanksgiving. And I will pass it to Ms. Angela Stewart.
So I do think I'm the last person here in the room, and I've got to say, no, who
The
did we
bacon wrapped
miss yet?
turkey. The bacon wrapped turkey has.
Oh, that's right. I can't pass it. I'm not the last person. Okay, second to the last person. And what I will say about the advantage to that is I know who to order things from in this room, because I feel like I don't need to do anything at this point. But I know stuffing was a really popular happening when people were talking about food. And I think my family's tradition with stuffing is a little different in that we have, instead of making like a bowl of stuffing or something big to share, we do make stuffing balls. And I don't know if that's partly like an Italian thing, because we like meatballs, we like everything like compact. But we make our stuffing balls, and it's not so much the making of the stuffing balls as it is when it comes to dinner time. We tend to sit at the table and say, pass me a stuffing ball. And rather than the whole plate being tossed across, we kind of give it a nice little toss over to the person who's requesting it. And, you know, it becomes a stuffing ball-a-palooza.
That sounds
just
dangerous.
Oh, it's a blast.
There.
It's
My kids would love your house.
It's the one time of year when the younger kids absolutely look at us grown-ups like, oh, did you just do that? And yes, we did. When it comes to being my family, though, you know, that's one thing. Something else that we do that I want to make mention as a tradition is it actually starts the week before Thanksgiving. We make sure to take food to a food pantry. And that started when my kids were in school. They worked very closely, actually arranging baskets and doing things like that. But, you know, being grateful for what we have and being grateful for the people who don't have, not that because they don't have, but being grateful that there's somebody that can help. The idea of being helpful runs in our family as well. So that and the turkey enchiladas after the holiday, I'm just going to stop. Okay, Ryan, Mr. Bacon Man, I will pass that to you.
Who doesn't love bacon? I understand, I guess, from what everyone's saying, the consensus is that it's stuffing and not filling, right? Is that it seems like it to be a big argument. I guess with my family, we have in the last couple years started to build our own traditions. Mainly because our lives are so hectic, we stay home most of the time. Watching the Macy's Day Parade and dining on some good food. Usually on holidays at the end of the year, our house is it's open and it's a come one, come all kind of deal. It's like we have food, you're welcome to come over. If not, we'll see you next time, you know. But yeah, it's a pretty good time. So I look forward to a nice, warm, cozy day of relaxing. So good time.
Ryan, I'm wondering if in your picture there's an actual turkey in that, or if that's just bacon shaped like a turkey.
Would you complain either way?
I'm just not sure. It, it's just it's a wondering
If I
situation.
bit
Add
into
some
that and it
tomato
was-
and lettuce to that, and you got a BLT turkey.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, if I bit into that and it was just bacon, I'm not going to complain, you know?
Well, since so many of us have watched the Macy's parade, has anybody ever seen it live? Like, has anybody ever gone to see it live? Just wondered. No, me either.
I've always wanted to.
Have you?
So I did not see it live, but I did see the day before the parade. We happened to be in New York City for the Rockettes. We went to the Radio City Music Hall, and the multiple floats, multiple balloons were being set up, and things were coming into town. And there's one little hall street that they get things started on. So we did get to stand by the big Macy's stars and take some pictures in that area. It was a really cool experience, and I never realized really how big some of those items are. It was really incredible.
I feel like that's a bucket list item, right? To be like in the parade and like hold the balloons or something. Like, I feel like that's not okay for me. Maybe it is.
I'm actually kind of curious.
Yeah.
Like, for the folks who are listening to us, how many actually have that? Like, because we are in proximity, we're relatively close to New York City. A lot of us are, but we've got kids from everywhere. So I'm curious if that's a bucket list item across our student body. I'd be curious to see.
That would be great to know. Okay, well, I think we all shared. Like I said, we wanted to share with you. We would love to hear from you about your Thanksgiving, what you do, what traditions you have, or what some of your favorite things are that you're thankful for. But thank you for tuning in and hearing from us. And we hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks for tuning in and joining us. And we are thankful for all of you and for being part of Keystone. So thanks, everyone. And we hope you have a great holiday. Bye.